I'm going to talk about sound today, and also about motivation to a certain extent, because the way I practice sound is also the way I practice when I have zero or less motivation, simply because that usually gets me to enjoy it again. The thing with motivation is that you can't give into it. If you don't feel like practicing, then you don't practice. The chances are the next day you'll feel like practicing even less. And if you keep that up for a couple of days, then it really gets difficult to get back into it. So what I do when I don't feel good about my playing or about my practicing is I concentrate on sound, and I do that in a way that I literally only concentrate on sound. I discard the rhythm, I discard the bowings, I discard the tempo. I just practice sound. I look for the perfect sound, for the best sound that I can possibly produce. You can do that at any level, because that's actually what violin playing is about. So if you don't play with vibrato yet, you can do this without vibrato. It doesn't really matter what pieces you're playing, you can practice them in this way, and it will definitely improve your violin playing because you're practicing sound, and you're also practicing intonation, because it can only sound good if it's in tune. You need the corresponding open strings to resonate. So you're training your ear, you're training your bow arm, and it's usually after a while I started really enjoying it. Also, not very much can go wrong, because the point of this exercise is to stay on the note until you're satisfied with the sound. So for example, if we start with the scale, I'll start with the scale to demonstrate. And start with the D major scale. You can just start with the open D string. That's your first note of the scale. Now remember, the components for sound are speed of bow, point of contact, and weight of the bow on the string. So if you have a high speed of bow, use the whole bow, and not very much weight on the string. Your bow will automatically move towards the fingerboard, and you'll get this kind of a sound. If you increase the weight, then your bow will automatically move towards the bridge, and you will get a stronger sound. It will be more like this. You more or less automatically have to decrease the speed of bow when you move closer to the bridge. So what you need to do is just play around with that on that first note of your D major scale. Until you find the sound you like best. And then you go to the next note, that would be the E. You see, you automatically adjust the intonation because we have an E string, we have an open E string, and if your E is perfectly in tune, then the E string will resonate. You can actually see it. It's a bit difficult to see with the E string because it vibrates fast. With the lower strings it's easier to see, but you will definitely hear it. So it becomes a fuller, more round sound. You do it with vibrato, but you can do it without as well, same thing. Now with the F sharp we don't have a corresponding open string, but still it has to be in tune to sound. So if you're looking for the most beautiful sound you can produce, that won't work if it's out of tune, so you will more or less automatically correct it. Now the G, we have the open G string, and that you can actually see vibrating if it's in tune. And you can definitely hear it. So you can practice your scale like that. It doesn't matter how long it takes, and use multiple bows. Stay on the note until you're really happy with the sound. I enjoy this so much that usually after I've done this for a while, I'm motivated to play the violin again, so problem solved. And if you do that with the A, we have, for example, the open A string. So ideally your fourth finger gives room for the open A string to vibrate, and then you continue. So you can practice all your scales like that. And you can practice etudes and pieces like that as well. For example, if you take Wolfart number 1, it's like this. But you don't practice it like that if you're practicing for sound. You stay on the first note and you try to play the most beautiful C you can with whatever technical equipment, whatever your level is. So then you move on to the next note. You play it. It doesn't matter how long you stay on each note, because while you are staying on the note, you are looking for the sound. You are working with the 3 sound components: speed of bow, point of contact, and weight of bow on the string. And you're varying them and you're experimenting with them. So you have all the time you need. Stay on the note until you like it. And you can practice the whole etude like that. Etc. That's where you're going through the whole thing. Now the same with pieces. You just discard the rhythm. For example, if you're practicing Vivaldi A minor, doesn't matter. Do the same thing. Even if you start with the open E string, see what you can do to make that open E string sound as good as you can, so that you like it. So you're training your ear, but you're also training your idea of sound, the kind of sound you want to produce. It's a personal thing. So now, of course, that A has to be in tune. You need the open A string to resonate. If you look at the A string while you're playing the A on the E string, you can see it resonating if your A is in tune. Again, play with multiple bows until you like the sound. You practice the whole piece like that. It doesn't matter, even the fast bits. Anybody listening to you will probably not recognize the piece. But the amazing thing is, if you then later on play it in tempo again, you will find that sound much quicker because you've practiced it. And if you practice this way regularly, you will find your sound much, much quicker. You do that with all sorts of pieces. Like, for example, Mozart E minor sonata, first movement. Same thing. That's piano, so you don't want a really loud sound. So you go, not much weight on the string, lots of speed of bow, and a comparatively low point of contact, that means close to the fingerboard. Until you like it. That was a hard one. So this is what I do when I have zero motivation, and this is what I do when I practice sound. I include this type of practicing actually always when I practice to a certain extent, because the sound is the most important thing. Sound and intonation. The only other very important thing then is rhythm, which you can then build on top. But if I'm only practicing for sound, I discard the rhythm. Doesn't matter how long I stay on a note, I stay on it until I like it. So yeah, good luck with this.